Yes, a very good evening to you tuned into UBC TV. Welcome once again to our second edition of News Tonight. Let's start with a look at the headlines. In our top stories tonight, President Museveni tasks UPDF on poverty eradication.
The main celebrations were marked in Butalangu ground.
UPDF officers celebrated a Sita with civilians at Muya Barracks. Senate acquits Trump in impeachment trial. While the Uganda is to host this year's Global Goals World Cup. Once again, welcome. My name is Michael Jordan Lukumwa. I'm with Muhammad Mugalu just there on your screen for sign language interpretation. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the Commander-in-Chief of the Uganda Armed Forces, has advised Uganda People's Defense Forces to maintain discipline and good relationship that the army has cultivated with the citizens. Accompanied by the First Lady Janet Museveni and Minister for Education and Sports, President Museveni was speaking during the 39th Tarehe Sita celebrations at Butalangu grounds in Nakaseke district. During this year's celebrations, President Museveni awarded medals to outstanding UPDF officers and civilians to appreciate services to the country. The awards were in categories of the Luwero Triangle, the Golden Jubilee and the Naluwale Medal Awards. Keynote awardee of the ceremony was First Lady Janet Museveni, who received the Naluwale Civilian Award Medal on behalf of the late John Wycliffe Kazura.
We are now celebrating 39 years of the new effort to get the country out of bad leadership. We are not new people here. We have lived here for millions of years. For much of that time, we had the problem of bad leadership. Leaders who are against the people. However, as usual, when you put milk in a container and you leave it there, flies can come and fall in. Banyankwele call that oktokora. The milk, the porridge, the food can be contaminated if it's not well covered. So the UPDF must always fight against contamination. So therefore, UPDF is a clean force, but it must guard against contamination. All good things can be contaminated. Now, because of that, because of the goodness, you have seen that we have been able to guarantee peace for a long time now. So therefore, the theme of this year, consolidating the relationship between the army and the people, is a good theme. I congratulate you on it.
President Yoweri Museveni has warned Uganda People's Defense Force that Uganda People's Defense Forces has the capability to crack on anybody who tries to destabilize Uganda. As Philip Aguta reports, Museveni was speaking during the 39th Tarehe Sita celebrations at Butalangu in Nakaseke.
Thousands of people across the country flocked to Butalangu grounds in the central district of Nakaseke to mark the 39th anniversary of the 6th of February, commonly known as Tarehe Sita. It's a commemoration of the day NRA attacked Kabamba barracks that started the 1981 war. The Commander-in-Chief, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, arrived and inspected the Guard of Honor. Then, a parade by men and women in uniform made the celebrations colorful. The renewal of UPDF's allegiance to the people of Uganda was also exciting. During the celebrations, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni says no one is going to destabilize Uganda with the capability Uganda People's Defense Forces has built.
So therefore, UPDF is a clean force, but it must guard against contamination. All good things can be contaminated. Now, because of that, because of the goodness, you have seen that we have been able to guarantee peace for a long time now. And as the CDF said, we are going to maintain the guardian of peace. Nobody will disturb our peace.
He, however, tasked the force to help empower civilians to eradicate poverty.
Later on, I realized that the UPDF may need to do more. When I was here, this very place, in 2013, people again were talking about poverty in the rural area. Then I said, but why do you keep talking of poverty when the government has been sending you programs to get you out of poverty? I realized that the civilian sectors like NADS, which we are using, had some issues of connecting with the people.
The Chief of Defense Forces, David Moozi, urged the citizens to take advantage of peace and stability that UPDF has ushered in the country to develop themselves.
My pledge therefore this year, Your Excellency, and all distinguished guests, is that as UPDF, we need to be more innovative and pronounced in the area of production for economic development. For the population, mine and the UPDF's appeal is that we should exploit this enabling environment and the abundant opportunities available to improve their lives.
At the celebrations, 146 UPDF officers and civilians were decorated with medals for their dedicated service and contributions to the country's development.
There is always time for everything, time to fight and time to celebrate. Just like in 1981, 41 men led by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni with 27 guns attacked Kabamba barracks and fought. For the thousands of people who gathered here at Nakaseke today, it was time to celebrate the gains of 1981 fight. For UBC TV News, I am Philip Aguta in Nakaseke district.
As the main celebrations were going on at Nakaseke, here in Kampala, the UPDF officers celebrated with citizens at Mbuya Barracks. Ivan Kahwa was that side.
UPDF in Mbuya has held its 39th Tarehe anniversary celebration at the Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs in Kampala. UPDF marked the climax of its civil-military activities with a march around Nakawa Division and later convened in Mbuya Barracks.
So we went from here to Gorobi, Nakawa and back to say thank you to the civilians who have supported us all along.
At the congregation, locals commended UPDF for exhibiting high level of discipline. Lieutenant Colonel Stephen Simbwa urged the army to emulate good principles while dealing with civilians.
We need to maintain, nyinyi askari ya UPDF, let us maintain our discipline, good discipline. Tuone kwamba tunaendesha vizuri nchi yetu. Tunatembea nao wananchi. Wananchi ndio kazi yetu kuona kwamba tunawalinda na mali yao na vitu yao. Usipigane na mwananchi. Ndio kusudi tunapendwa na wananchi.
So this day is considered the birth of the National Resistance Army Liberation Struggle, where the first bullet to attack Kabamba was fired. It is now 39 years down the road, and the consistency of the fruits yielded from the struggle is key in ensuring peace and freedom is achieved.
So we must all be together, we, the spear of the nation, and all patriots, to make sure that we prevent, counter the efforts of the bad people. Hence, consolidating the gains of the revolution.
The main celebrations were marked in Ivutalango grounds in Nakaseke district, with people in various disciplines awarded medals for their contribution towards development in Uganda. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News at Mbuya Barracks.
President Yoweri Museveni, in other news, has emphasized the need for the country to promote unity and the spirit of Pan-Africanism if the region is to attain socio-economic transformation. He was addressing senior and junior officers of the Uganda People's Defense Forces, the Uganda Police and Uganda Prison Services, who have been undergoing 3 months advanced joint political education and leadership development course at the National Leadership Institute in Chankwanzi and at the Oliver Tambo Military Training Institute in Kaweweta, Nakaseke district. The lecture was at State House Entebbe, as we see in this report.
President Yoweri Museveni has emphasized the importance of global influence, adding that there is need to use technology to benefit all people. The president was addressing senior and junior officers of the Uganda People's Defense Forces, the Uganda Police, and Uganda Prison Services, who have been undergoing a 3 months advanced joint political education and leadership development course at the National Leadership Institute, Chankwanzi, and at Oliver Tambo Military Training Institute, Kaweweta, in Nakaseke district. He took the over 200 officers through the history of the origin of man, the historical process of development of society and its organization, as well as history, geography, and economic potential of Uganda, on top of elements of socio-economic transformation.
Those people who tell you about tribes, those who tell you about religious groups, are your enemies. Because if you are a Mnyankore and you are producing milk, the Mnyankore will not help you because this Mnyankore is producing milk, the neighbor is also producing milk. This one, A cannot buy from B, B cannot buy from A, because they are producing the same product. So the only one who can help you are the other people who are not producing what you are producing. If you are a friend of the Banyankore, you should be promoting the unit of Uganda, so that the other people who don't produce milk buy their milk. But even Uganda is not enough. You need to promote the spirit of East Africanness, so that the other Africans can buy their milk. Now what you say about milk is the same for bananas, is the same for maize, is the same for whatever we are producing.
He told the students that Africa needs to wake up, work hard, and catch up with the rest of the world, adding that the African continent has lagged behind in development because it missed taking part in the earlier revolutions of shifting from using manual labor to using machine labor for mass production. He therefore stressed that Africa must metamorphose socially to attain transformation. He pointed out the numerous measures that the NRM government has put in place with a view of catching up with the rest of the world. He pointed out that some of the measures include agricultural services, mass education, liberation, and military-industrial power, among others. The director of the Chankwanzi-based National Leadership Institute, Brigadier Kasura David Chomukama, saluted the president for the support to the institution as far as infrastructural development is concerned. He said the officers were given enough knowledge about Uganda and can now be good ambassadors of socio-economic transformation. Prisla Namara reporting.
Ministry of Health has launched the Uganda Population-Based HIV Impact Assessment Survey of 2020, which will last for 6 months. The Minister for Health, Dr. Jenruth Acheng, says that the survey will help to improve on the HIV-related programs and policies.
The Uganda Population-Based HIV Impact Assessment Survey is carried out after every 5 years to obtain data on national and regional incidences of HIV to guide on planning and interventions. The 2020 survey, which will last 6 months and cost $3 million, has been launched by the Minister for Health, Dr. Jenruth Acheng. The survey will involve 10,000 randomly selected households across the country, and 24,000 people will participate. The survey will measure the impact of HIV programs to help government and partners to direct interventions and resources to the people in need.
UFIA 2020 is being conducted to update the observations from the survey of 2016. The FIA surveys are for the first time providing HIV program impact assessment indicators such as HIV incidence and viral load suppression, which are the more sensitive markers of the progress towards epidemic control.
Uganda Population-Based HIV Impact Assessment Survey 2020 is timely as Uganda pushes for the global target of ending HIV by 2030.
Similar surveys has already been conducted in 14 HIV endemic countries with the aim of measuring national HIV incidence, viral load suppression, and progress towards 90 target. The proposed follow-up survey for Uganda is designed to obtain updated population-based estimate of HIV indicators in adults and measure impact of HIV program interventions.
The results from the Uganda Population-Based HIV Impact Assessment Survey 2020 on the theme "A Drop That Counts" will be launched on the World AIDS Day, which falls on 1st December. Adiana Kote, UBC.
The Uganda Youth Development Link has asked Parliament not to pass the law of planting marijuana in the country. They said this will only bring more negative effects since Uganda is still battling with the issues of drug abuse. This was at a media dialogue in Kampala which aimed at discussing the ways of preventing drug abuse among the young people.
Uganda Youth Development Link has appealed to Parliament to phase out the bill on legalizing marijuana planting. It follows a recent parliamentary move to legalize the planting of marijuana in Uganda. The Executive Director, Uganda Youth Development Link, Rogers Cassidy, says drugs are harmful and legalizing them will only worsen the situation.
It's going to go out of our way the moment people introduce marijuana gardens, because everybody will be growing marijuana and that problem will be very difficult. And I want our president to stand out and say, much as we have money, we cannot allow growing of marijuana in this country. We have taken almost a generation of 10 years fighting tobacco. In Uganda, we don't have a tobacco epidemic because of the efforts of NGOs and government. Now you cannot bring in marijuana. Marijuana is more serious.
Such drugs are freely transported, which provides a quick access to the youth.
Both levels to be able to address this, and the only way we can do this is by collectively coming together to bring that about.
Learn that treatment is possible, recovery is possible. It's important to focus on strengthening the protective factors in place for people to get the possibility and opportunity to recover.
They urge the government to create awareness on effects of drug abuse and institute penalties on culprits.
We can do more by prevention. Prevention is cheaper. We can save a lot of money by doing prevention, but also keeping our children safe and healthy.
Findings from the research released in February 2019 indicates that drug and substance abuse in youths, especially students, is between 60 and 70%. Shaidat Nasaku and Lydia Chomukama, UBC News.
Upgrade and expansion works of the Entebbe International Airport are at 80% and expected to be completed in April. This was revealed during a guided tour around the old and new facilities by State Minister for Transport, Joy Kabasi.
State Minister for Transport, Joy Kabasi, has inspected upgrading and expansion works currently ongoing at Entebbe International Airport. During the tour, Minister Kabati lauded the management and staff of Uganda Civil Aviation Authority for improving the air transport sector.
We should not move backwards, we should move ahead with the world. So what we need at our airport is exactly what is happening outside Uganda in the world of aviation, and that is what we want done. We want the ICAO rules followed.
In April this year, Uganda will host G77 Plus China Summit. Over 100 presidents and about 1,000 delegates will attend. However, the question is, will Entebbe International Airport accommodate the heavy air traffic anticipated?
We are over 80% done, and everything will be okay. Our visitors who are coming for the G77 plus China Summit will have where to park. Even if it's 100 leaders who will be here, the parking is done.
It is worth noting that at the inception, it was estimated that the upgrading and expansion works would be complete in December last year. Engineer Ayub Soma, the Director, Airports and Aviation Security, is in charge of all the construction works.
The upgrade and expansion of Entebbe International Airport is being executed under an Exim loan bank loan, to which, of course, as we went on, we had some other negotiations, and that made some delays in the project. I want to comment that despite the fact that while there are some further negotiations that are going on, the project is also ongoing, and yes, that has affected the timeline, including the weather. As all of you see, we have got weather which has made our works quite complicated. But otherwise, still we are on schedule.
Dorcas Kimono, UBC TV News.
Educationists from the East African Community member states have called for easy mobility of qualified human resource across the region to ease the integration process. While launching the International Scholarship Program for East Africa, State Minister for East African Community Affairs Julius Wandera Maganda says that higher institutions of learning must focus on science courses.
Teaching of science subjects has been a long-time gospel in Uganda, stretching across all levels of education. This perhaps explains why the recently opened Soroti University in the Teso sub-region of eastern Uganda has its emphasis on sciences.
They will know there is a bone here, there is a nerve here, there is a vein here. So when he's cutting, this knowledge will help him to understand what he's doing.
The East African community has taken the regional dimension, and the emphasis remains on science courses at both master's and bachelor's levels in East Africa.
Because if you look at industry today, and global value chains in particular, they work across countries.
Because nowadays our industries do not rely on skills only. They also rely on technology and knowledge. And they are hiring now master's degree graduates. So we need to have competent and skilled graduates for industry.
And so, when the Inter-University Council for East Africa made it public, the availability of scholarships for students at master's level, many applied. One of the successful applicants was a student from Rwanda, Irakoze Mahilis. She is pursuing a master's in food science and technology at Dedan Kimathi University of Science and Technology in Kenya.
I'll be just contributing to the eradication of hunger, but also knowing that food security goes with food safety, so we should get food but which is safe.
Miriam Akelo is another beneficiary, currently pursuing a Master of Science in Integrated Soil Fertility Management at Kenyatta University in Kenya.
For example, in the tropics, our soils are really poor in most of the nutrients, and this is the major cause of food insecurity. So it would be prudent, really, after I complete this course.
These are among the 60 students selected from the 6 East African Community member states.
The program is emerging because of the treaty, which entirely is trying to promote on the common markets. And as we speak about the common markets, we are supposed to harmonize also our education systems.
So this working together meant that we harmonize the academic programs and the curricula of the education systems of the partner states, and also facilitate mobility of students and academic staff within the community.
30 million euros is earmarked for the program, 10 million of which is available. The German Development Bank funded scholarship supports science students at master's level in East African Community, targeting about 700 students in the next 3 years. Henry Okurut, UBC.
All right. An accident along Kamuli Jinja Road has claimed a one Sowed Waiswa, a resident of Wenge in Jinja district. The accident involving a commuter taxi registration number UAW 297A rammed into a Kanta registration number UAT 792Q carrying charcoal to Jinja district. It is alleged that the overloaded commuter taxi was overtaking the Kanta when it hit the rear part of the lorry and overturned. Those injured were rushed to Kamuli Hospital for treatment. We wish them a very quick recovery. Child marriage has become rampant in sub-counties of Butiaba and Biso in Bulisa district, prompting a campaign as school term, first term begins. According to civil society organizations in Bulisa district, only 2 girls out of 10 go to school among the Bagungu community, who marry off girls for benefits. Lake Albert Children, Women Advocacy and Development Organization has started a Go Back to School campaign to reduce the number of school dropouts among girls. Biso Sub-County Chairman Peter Okech noted that the campaign has improved girl child enrollment in the area.
Lakwado as general, through its activities in education, it has really put us on the map of Bulisa, because we had problems in education. Enrollment was low, but through their sensitization, we have at least improved. Then also performance. Then we had problem of child protection and child labor. As I'm talking now, including child right. Our people, our community are aware of their rights. Children are aware of their rights, right to education, right to health. We are now a bit somewhere, and the Masindi districts, we've also been able to work on HIV HIV and AIDS, more especially at the lake shores, in Uwego, in Butiaba, in Wanseko. We've been able to rescue many children that have been at.
Yes, with the story from Bulisa, we now take a very short break. On return, we have business, international, and sports. Please keep it with us.
Distance. On target.
Mama Naro, sweetie Bambi, where are you? Perezako simu, I want you to get some soup.
Oyagala wangoko.
The soup you want is for MTN. Good daily bando, I can call any network. I show you.
We have added more Kasupu to MTN daily voice bundles. You can now call all networks using the same voice bundle at the same price. Dial *160*21# to load an MTN daily voice bundle and call any network. Everywhere you go, MTN.
The Ministry of Health informs the general public that there is a new deadly virus called coronavirus which broke out in China but has since spread to other countries worldwide. There are many people who travel between Uganda and China for trade, employment and tourism, which puts the country at serious risk. The government reassures all Ugandans that so far there are no confirmed or suspected cases of coronavirus in Uganda. Coronavirus starts like a common flu, but its symptoms and effects are more severe, and if not managed early enough, it can lead to death. The coronavirus signs and symptoms include fever, cough, sore throat, shortness of breath. The ministry urges the general public to be on the lookout to protect themselves and those around them from getting the coronavirus. To prevent coronavirus from spreading further, please take the following measures. Be on the lookout and avoid close contact with persons who show flu-like symptoms. Cover your mouth and nose when sneezing or coughing. Regularly wash hands with soap and running water. Cook meat and eggs thoroughly before eating. Avoid unprotected contact with live wild animals. For further information, please call the Ministry of Health toll-free number on 0800 1000 66 or send a free SMS to YouReport on 8500. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF and WHO.
Hi, I'm DJ Drogba. On average, almost 250,000 people die on the road in Africa each year. As a proud African, this breaks my heart, knowing that so many deaths could have been avoided. So when you're on the roads, follow these safe steps and help save lives. Make sure you stick to speed limits. They're there to protect you and others. Slow down at high-risk areas like junctions, sharp turns, and before traffic lights. And watch out for pedestrians, cyclists, and animals. To avoid collisions, keep a safe distance. And remember the 3-second rule. Pick out an object and count to 3. If you've passed the object before the count of 3, you're far too close. So when you're on the roads, follow these safe steps and help save lives. We all have a role to play in road safety. Together, let's make Africa's road safer.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Welcome now to business news tonight. The first phase of the construction of the Nimule one-stop border post in South Sudan has been completed and commissioned. This was at a ceremony graced by James Wanliga, the Vice President of South Sudan. Funded to a tune of $5 million by Trademark East Africa, the stop border will host revenue and immigration officers from both South Sudan and Uganda under one roof.
Easiest entry point, with over 90% of cargo destined for South Sudan passing through this border crossing. In the last 3 years, the OSPP has been undergoing rehabilitation after the completion of the Legu one-stop border post on the Ugandan side.
This border post today will make our women happy. Why? Because Nimule women will be trained and supported. For example, simplified trade regime or system, which is a key initiative to fast-track and simplify the procedures and processes for women to trade across the border.
The first phase of the facility has been technically handed over to the government of South Sudan. In attendance were government officials from South Sudan, development partners, the business community, and the border community.
It included 4 components. One of the components are 3 access roads. The second component is a parking yard. The third one is a verification shed, which includes offices and also the drainage system.
Today is a turning point to South Sudan. South Sudan is going to be part of the East Africa by achieving this one-stop border post. Then we are almost moving forward.
The one-stop border facility will speed up movement of goods and services as the African continent prepares for the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area.
Once you have cross-border trade, then you could use it as a springboard to go into African Continental Free Trade Area. So this function or this facility will definitely consolidate trade between our 2 countries.
South Sudan's Minister of Finance and Planning, Salvatore Garang, seems to agree with the Minister, Amelia Chambade.
And this is an attempt to get closer to what must be seen as economic recovery in the economic sector, because this will realize a better potential for the collection of the revenue in South Sudan.
Border facility will transform revenue administration and improve South Sudan's social and economic development. For South Sudan, Africa's youngest nation, to keep pace with our counterparts in the region, it must be able to establish some of the key trade infrastructures. This Nimule one-stop border post, whose first phase has been completed and handed over to the government of South Sudan, is a step in the right direction. Dennis Igoa for UBC News in Nimule, South Sudan.
NC Bank Uganda has launched a cash deposit intelligent automated banking to mitigate the cash management challenges facing businesses in Uganda. The managing director, NC Bank Uganda, Sam Tulume, says that technology will reduce fraud through receipt of counterfeits and high labor costs.
The 2018-2019 fiscal survey by NC Bank Uganda shows that 85% transaction is cash-based. So, cash is the predominant mode of payment among many businesses in Uganda. There are operation challenges for customers who receive bulk cash, where fraud and insufficiencies in cash verification and manual cash handling need address. Cash handling is common at supermarkets, petrol stations, and other related businesses.
We all, having done transactions ourselves as we move around in the city, you realize that there are still many businesses in this town where you are still required to pay for your goods or services using cash. If you took a stroll along the streets and you looked for shops that have, say, outlets where you can pay by Visa or pay electronically, we're having very few of those right now.
NC Bank Uganda has introduced a provision for cash-intensive institutions to deposit physical cash direct from their premises to the bank account.
After our market study and research, that this cash depositor machine is a solution that will help all those cash-rich businesses to manage the handling of cash.
Customers deposit a minimum cash of 500 million shillings at the premises and monitor the transaction through the bank online banking platforms.
This device takes up to 10,000 notes, but there are smaller versions that take smaller notes, but for today, this is the beast. Okay, so this takes 10,000 notes. A lot of convenience. You don't have to move out of your premises to walk across to bank your cash. You just, once the cashier reaches a certain limit, you just bank the cash into the cash depositor machine, and it's as good as deposit.
Such digital banking technology in Uganda banking system will reduce risks in handling bulk cash. Abraham Robert Bwaita, UBC News.
A recognition agreement has been signed between Uganda National Plantation and Agricultural Workers Union and the Mayuge Sugar Company. The agreement is intended to end the rift between the two parties, where workers have been clashing with sugar investors over what workers complain of as poor and inhuman working conditions and remunerations. The agreement was signed yesterday at the Sunset Hotel in Jinja.
An agreement with the national unions of plantation and agricultural workers. We thank them for the reception, and we look forward to start afresh and harmonize with our laborers, our workers, and we hope to run the industry in a very fruitful manner.
These workers were working under poor condition. They're working over 10 hours. They have not been getting annual leave, although the labor law was there clear. So the workers have been even going on strike, but mishandled, and sometimes being calling police, and they are just treated on them. So today I'm very grateful, and I think the workers of Mayuge are very grateful that we have signed the agreement, and finally the union is in a place.
Government is to give out at least 560 million shillings to each district in Bukedi sub-region as a seed capital. The money is part of presidential initiative on wealth and job creation, Emioga, aimed at improving household income in the region. While declaring this to the leaders in the region, Minister for Microfinance Haruna Kasoro tasked the leaders to unite and identify one enterprise that can generate income for their locals.
People mention the causes of poverty, and I strongly believe there are many other reasons that have caused poverty in Bukedi.
So the answer is we are not okay. We have identified the factors that push us to that position.
Erikoni, you have Bukinyanya. Therefore you have Sereri. Karamoja you have Nabwiri. And I can go on because I know this country fairly well. But Bukedi as a sub-region, we do not have an agricultural research institute. People have talked about the diseases, the pests, the soils and so on. So we are not guided in any way.
If you can only help us and you come up with the key wetlands which are gazetted that you feel we should not be encroached, and the remaining parts be helped, and we are able to plant rice throughout the different seasons, let me say throughout the year. This will also help us maybe to get out of being number 2, maybe to certain level.
People mention the causes.
Uganda Revenue Authority wants tax-compliant business owners to expose non-compliant counterparts. The appeal comes amid reports of a 30% loss of taxes on imported goods over tax evasion. URA Internal Audit and Compliance Commissioner Protasio Begomisa says that some people operating businesses that are not registered.
I faced challenges when I actually came out of my job to do business, because I didn't know what to do, how to file returns. So I was like bogged down with penalties, you know, too much tax which had accumulated over time, and penalties and all that. And I didn't know how to handle it, whom to actually help me through this. So it was a big challenge and a big blow in my business. The system is fair. For me, my concern is utilization of the taxes which are collected. For me, work of URA would be so easy if the tax can be used well, and it's actually accounted to us, the taxpayers, how the money is used. The tax system in Uganda, I wouldn't say is bad. It is good, because without taxes we can't be able to access other services that the government have to give us. But yeah, the taxes are, at times they're not very friendly, or the mode of collection of the taxes at times are harsh. And then for an upcoming school, a new school or a new business, it can be difficult, because yeah, when the taxes come, they are huge, and yeah, at times it's not very friendly.
In terms of the number of Ugandans that are now registered and paying taxes, we have now slightly moved beyond 1.5 million Ugandans. So when you add up all those numbers, then you may not find ura.go4.
Before we go to sport, President Donald Trump has been cleared in his impeachment trial, ending a congressional bid to remove him from office that bitterly divided the United States. The Senate, run by the president's fellow Republicans, voted to acquit him 52 on 58 on charges of abuse of power, and 53 on 47 on obstruction of the Congress. Democrats charged Trump in December with pressuring Ukraine to smear a potential White House rival. He will become the first impeached president to seek re-election. In its historic vote on Wednesday, the Senate decided not to remove America's 45th president from office on charges arising from his dealings with Ukraine. If convicted on either charge, Trump would have had to turn over his office to Vice President Mike Pence. The Democratic-led House of Representatives approved the articles of impeachment on the 18th of December. Trump, who is seeking a second four-year term in the 3rd November election, always denied wrongdoing. And now in sport, Uganda will host this year's Global Goals World Cup East African chapter. The games are set for the 8th of March at StarTimes Stadium, Lugogo. East African countries will send in teams East African countries will send in teams to a total of 28 teams to compete in football with the aim of publicizing the 17 SDGs. The Africa Sports Foundation is behind the event, together with the Federation of Football Association in Uganda, FUFA. Katani story advanced.
For Goals World Cup is a good initiative, and when it was introduced by Madam Mariam Pata to us, FUFA, and the FUFA leadership immediately embraced it, and we pledged to give it all the support, basically because it is another initiative, another opportunity for us to mobilize for women football. It is also one of the initiatives to give back to the community and our corporate social responsibility strategy.
The Global Goals World Cup East Africa 2020 is a special edition because I think right now, since the initiative started in 2016, it is about the 25th edition that has been hosted all over the world. And the other reason why it is special is because among the 5 African countries that have hosted the Global Goals, Uganda has also been the privilege to be able to host this tournament. And therefore we have a lot to show the world, to show our passion, because Ugandans, we are known for being passionate about sports, especially football, and that is something we want to demonstrate on 8th March. And to be able to involve women who have never played football, for me I think it's magical, because once a grandmother understands the beauty of sports, they understand that football is amazing, it has all these benefits, then we immediately start seeing the impact in terms of women football, because then they start to support their children, their girls, to play football. So I think that it is a special time for women, and I appreciate the teams that have already registered, 28 teams. We have 6 teams from Kenya, 2 teams from Tanzania, and the rest of the teams from Uganda. And it's also amazing that we've seen a team of grandmothers register for this tournament.
Wow, I will support the team for grandmothers. With that, we come to the end of news tonight. Thanking you so much for watching. Let's have a look at the headlines as we close. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has tasked the UPDF on poverty eradication in Uganda.
The main celebrations were marked in Uganda.
The UPDF officers in Kampala celebrated Tarehe Sita with civilians in Buya. Senate has acquitted Trump in the impeachment trial, as Uganda is to host this year's Global Goals World Cup in Lugogo. That is all we had for you tonight. We thank you once again for watching and request you to keep it with us always. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomo. With Mohammed Mugalu and the whole team, wish you the best of the night, leaving you with Juliet Alitubeda with the weather forecast here.
Brought to you by NEMA, ensuring sustainable development.
Good evening. Welcome once again to yet another edition of the Weather Report. I'm Alituela Juliet from Uganda National Meteorological Authority. Wet activities are going on in different parts of our country, and by 9 a.m. this morning we received a rainfall report from some stations we have across the country. Lira reported the highest of 49.6, Tororo reported 36.4, Soroti 27.7, Kalengere 27.1, Razmbara reported 23.1 millimeters. From the satellite image taken over Africa, it can clearly show that we have high pressure center over Indian Ocean, which is blowing in moist winds towards our country, and also the push from Congo forests. They are still contributing to the wet activities in different parts of our country. Tomorrow morning we are expecting rains for areas near the lake and in the lake. Elsewhere we are expecting sunny intervals. Later in the day we are expecting thunder showers for most areas in the southern sector of our country. Elsewhere we shall have sunny intervals. This is a mixture of clouds and sunshine. The maximum temperatures will go up to 29 degrees centigrade for the northern sector. Around the lake we are expecting a maximum of 26 to 27 degrees centigrade. For our capital city in particular, we are expecting 26 degrees centigrade. And for Kabale Highlands, a maximum of 23 is expected. If you intend to go far away from Uganda, we are expecting sunny conditions for Dubai, Paris and London at a maximum of 25 in Dubai. Mombasa, we are expecting sunny intervals at a maximum of 32 degrees centigrade, whereas Kigali, cloudy conditions are expected. Thank you for keeping us company. From me, Alitubela Juliet, and my graphics person, Bulia Victoria. Thank you for watching UBC. Have a good night.
Brought to you by NEMA, ensuring sustainable development.
The management of Uganda Broadcasting Corporation wish to inform all those who applied for jobs that all job offers are communicated through official channels, and the corporation does not ask for any form of payment for the same. Any solicitation of a bribe or payment from any person for a job offer at UBC should therefore be reported to the nearest police station, and any bribe offer, if discovered, shall act as an automatic disqualification